everyone and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. Well, today we need to sort out the MOT on the van. Doesn't quite go to plan, but you're about to find out. And there's lots of things to do in the van just to get ready for that. So we're going to get on and do that right now. Less of the talk, more of the action. Let's see what's happening with the van. Right, so we're back on the van and lots of things have been happening since you've last seen the van. I've still got this door to do. This one's done, that one's not. What a difference. So inside the main van in here, you can see that we've installed the tank. So this is going to be a window cleaning van. So we've got the tank in. A few of my buddies, including the van owner, came back yesterday and we installed that because it takes quite a bit because you got to bolt it to the ground. So that's all done. Hence the reason why the van is up on jacks. And there's two reasons why it's up on jacks, because I want to check all the underside. Now under the van is as solid as anything. It really is. It's in a really good place. So really pleased about that. But when I took it for a drive the other day, when I took it for its MOT, and incidentally we didn't do that MOT because I was late, as I probably mentioned, there was a noise coming from this wheel. So I just want to check the undercarriage to make sure everything's okay. I'm guessing it's going to be the fact that it's been sitting around and so the discs are rusted. If that's the case, that's not a problem. But that's what we're going to do today. Just check this wheel and the other side, and then we'll drop it and then do the same to the front, because I want to check the undercarriage on the front as well. So let's get that done. Okay, so we've taken the front wheel off. We've just been inspecting the discs. The pads are okay. They've got about 8mm of pad or material. Let's get my torch on there. Got about 8mm of material still in there, maybe 5mm. No, it's about 8mm of material on there on both sides. I've checked. Also, we've just checked the wishbone to make sure that there's no excessive amount of play in there, and you can see there's a bit of movement, but that's acceptable. What we don't want to do is see it moving side to side, and it's definitely not doing that. And the same with the front as well. So around the front we can see that there is some acceptable movement in there, because it needs to. That's why it's on a rubber mount. But it's when it starts moving side to side and it clearly isn't doing that, or we're not feeling that when we're driving in the car. And also looking up at the mount as well, there's a bit of surface rust there, but nothing that is corrosive. So again, we're in a good place with that as well. So this should be okay for the MOT, and we're not so worried about that. And of course, finally, CV joints are all dry. There's no gunk or grease coming out of that, and that's good. And again, the brake lines, they're all dry as well. All good signs that the system is sealed and doing what it's supposed to do. Good. Let's check the other side. Actually, before we check the other side, this is the inside of the tyre. Always worth checking, because sometimes you can get a cut or blister on that, and that will be an MOT failure. Also the rim, we can see that the rim is round, there's no dents or anything in there on the inside. Again, that's sound, so we can put this wheel back together. Okay, so looking at this side, you can see the beginnings of some wear on that wishbone there, but if I get my lever bar, it's not moving excessively, so it's moving up and down. It's supposed to do that, but it ain't moving sideways, which is fine. And the front here is absolutely fine. That's going up and down, no problems there at all. Looking at the CV joints, all the CV boots, there's no weeping at the front or at this end either, so no weeping at the gearbox end, which is good. Nice and solid there. Brake pads about the same as the other side, so 5 to 8 mil we have. I'm just checking the inside. Inside is about the same as well, so the brakes are in a good place. We've got no weeping on the cable, so the cable is bone dry. Saying that, by that union there's a little bit of weeping there. Can you see that? So I'm going to take a look at that, see why that is the case there. That shouldn't be, that could be just water saying that. Yep, it's water. It's definitely water, it's just water leaking down. So that's a relief, and you can, just to prove it as well, you can see that it's wet there as well, so it's coming down. Yeah, it's coming down from this pipe here, I can see. So I'll just check to see where that pipe goes to. But that looks like what could be the water filler tank, but we'll just check that out just to be on the safe side. Yeah, but other than that, the wheel seems okay. Brake discs are okay. It's got a teeny little bit of a lip here, but nothing excessive in terms of wear and tear. So at some point in the future, probably next year sometime, we might want to look at changing those discs over for a new one with a set of pads to go with it as well. But other than that, everything seems to be in good working order, so we're happy with that. We'll put the wheel on, but we'll just check underneath the bonnet first. Right, so the leak that we saw down below is actually coming from here. So this here is absolutely soaked. You can see it squeezing through. That's where the water basically is sitting in the scuttle panel here in the corner and then soaking down that area down there. So that's nothing to worry about. That's a relief. So yeah, I think we're in a good place with the van. So I'll put the wheel back on, and then we go on to our next task. Right, we're going to now finish off the cutting with some G3. So if you've been wondering what I've been using G3. This is brilliant stuff. I strongly recommend it. Look at my Amazon store if you want to find this. It's made short work of all of this yellowing that's on the van. So let's hit this side now, this door and the wing, and then that will complete the first sort of pass of polishing. The next stage is the bit that you probably won't see because you're not interested, but that will bring the van back to a showroom finish. So let's get this done. So there you go, both the front wing and the door have now been hit with G3, looking much better. Now I'm not a valeter, quite frankly. I don't have the patience for it, but I do enjoy it when a door and when the vehicle comes up clean. And compare this vehicle to what it was, it's in a much better place. Now some of you have commented about this being a different size. Don't worry, we have got the original to go back on. It literally pops off, but when you pop them off, the actual poppers behind it will break. So I've got some new ones coming, and as soon as we get those done, we'll get that fitted. We've also got some body work to do here. So we filled the holes from that locker that was there. We'll sand that down and we'll give that coat. And what we'll probably do is do this whole area in here so that it matches. And the same applies to the back door. so we'll probably do this whole area so that we get an even match, because obviously painting white is a challenge, as we saw with Bill and Ben. But yeah, the van is looking much better. So there's not much to do on this now. We now just need to get it through the MOT, and then Friday, Ryan, the owner, he's coming down and we're going to do the finishing touches, and that will conclude this build. So I think we've got about another week. Now we are going to replace this wing because it's dented. Now we could get it repaired, but when I inquired on the cost of getting this repaired, and the fact that it's got some lines and creases in there, so it couldn't guarantee a perfect repair, but the cost was comparable to the replacement wing that I have actually purchased. And then to finish it all, we're going to give the engine bay a good clean, and we're going to give it a service as well. So that's the final jobs that we need to do it. Oh, I say the final jobs. No, we've still got some interior stuff to do as well, haven't we? So the radio, we're going to deal with the radio. So we've got a replacement double din to go in here, and we're also going to replace the gear knob, because as you can see this is completely perished, so we've got to replace one of those to do. And finally the steering wheel, because it looks like a dog has been chewing this thing up, and this is sadly the way that these Berlingo steering wheels actually go, so we've got that to do as well. 2 hours later. So the van failed the MOT, but it only failed on two things: the drop link on the near side and bulb. Simple. So we're going to swap those out, and then we're going to get it back to the MOT station for a retest. So let's get on with it. Right, the bulb, straightforward. We just literally take it off there. There's a little black cap at the back that we just undo, and then the bulb should just twist out, or just come out like that. Right, let's get a spare one. Right, now we're going to get this van MOT'd with not a moment too soon to wait, because I think I'm running slightly late, so I better hurry up. 2 hours later. So we are back from the MOT station, and great news, the van has passed its MOT. Yes! Yes! And that's really good, because it means that we can get on, and no advisories, which is brilliant actually. So now we're pushing to the end, and something has just arrived that we need to do, not next, but in a second. So let me show you what's just arrived. We got a new steering wheel, which is brilliant. Now this one is absolutely perfect. So absolutely no marks on it whatsoever. So this will go on and replace the steering wheel that looks like it's been bitten by a dog. And now of course we're going to work on the gear stick, because the gear stick is in a similar order, but I've got a replacement gaiter for that as well. So first of all, let's get it get the gaiter off. Right, so we've got the gaiter off. We're going to pull this off now, and I've actually loosened this, but that is tighter than a tight thing. But you need to get this off in order to put the new gear gaiter back. We'll show you that process shortly, but you literally just give it a good yank and it will come through. Even though it feels like it won't, it will with a good old yank. Right, we're going to deal with this next. Now I've disconnected the battery, and the only reason why I disconnect the battery is so that we don't get any airbag lights rather. So taking off these are quite straightforward. There is a hole underneath. I'll show you that. So there's a little hole just there, and once you push that in with a screwdriver, that will release the airbag. And then once the airbag is released, we can then take the steering wheel. Now the steering wheel is perfectly straight, so we'll use that as a guide so that we can then put the new steering wheel, that one there, back in. So we'll do that now. That has got to be the easiest steering wheel that I fitted, bar none. That was such a doddle, it really was. I wish Audi steering wheels were as easy as that. Okay, so that is it. We've got the steering wheel on. Next week will be the final video, I promise you that. So next week we got the wing to fit. We have got all the other little bits and pieces to do, the interior to sort out with the radio. Yeah, got lots of stuff happening next week, and of course the van will then be complete, and that'll be the end of that project. So what's next? Good question. Lots of stuff happening, and that's the reason why we don't have a project car, but trust me, it will be great when it does eventually happen. If you're a Patreon, you already know, but it's going to be something good for next year if it all pans out. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe down here. Click on the bell notification button, and you know what? Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes on this video, because that always helps the channel. So if you like this video, click on the like button, and that's really going to help us as well. So we'll see you next week. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.